Hello, it's Purrly. I bet you're wondering, what is this Yu-Gi-Oh? You're not a Yu-Gi-Oh person, you're a Digimon player now. And you're right, but I really like Onomatapia. So I decided to show off 2 different decks today to show off what Onomatapia is doing in the future. The first one's the boring one, which is Onomatapia Ryzeal. This deck's pretty obvious with what this deck is trying to do. You're using the new Onomatapia cards to be as a new rank 4 engine to go alongside with Ryzeals to make up for their new inconsistency. And it's a really good start. I would say this deck is incredibly good only because what Detonator does for this deck is a lot more than what the Ryzeals themselves do. Consistency is really what I care about, ending on something is what I do. And I will be honest with you, Trident Pass is still good even in 2025, and that's what Detonator does for us. I would love for us to be at a point where rank 4s actually have like a system that can end on something more, but even Onomatapia's like Utopia archetype doesn't have an end goal that's worth it that isn't gonna die to Nibiru. I guess we'll talk about the actual problems of the deck first. The major one is Droll and Lockbird. Droll and Lockbird effectively kills any Ryzeal build already, but now it effectively does kill a turn if it resolves and you don't have the cards to continue. If they droll you after Onomatapia, you're doing a little bit better for yourself, but it's still not good, seeing as every single Onomat card wants to detach itself, and then after it's detached, search another Onomato card. The Ryzeals are in the same boat where they, on summon, want to search another Ryzeal. If a droll happens at any point in either side of this deck, your turn could be over. With that said, the extra deck is not as tight as other builds. We can build into a lot of stuff. Hell, there are slots in here that I'm not even sure I'm building correctly. I don't think I need Gaga Magician in this deck. Girl feels good enough. We'll get to that as we go to a card by card for these cards, but there's a lot of cards, even as I'm looking at it, that feel like they aren't necessary, and that's really cool. I like that a lot about a deck, is when I can tell I'm not actually properly building it, and that's why I'm losing. Now, going through the actual cards themselves, I'm going to explain these really simply for the little brain worms inside your head to kind of click together what this deck's trying to do immediately. So, Dodo Warrior is a math mech circular. This is usually a bit that what people say to show off a card that is unanimously the card to fix an archetype. Dodo Warrior is objectively that. A card that literally says pitch a fucking Dodo from your deck to summon this out, make it a level 4, and reduce its attack. The level 4 that you will send for Dododos is Dodo Dwarf Go-Go Glove. If you've played Utopia before, you know this is one of the part of the 3-card combo already. Now it's just an extender. If it being pitched off Dodo resolves, they need DD Crow to stop what is about to happen because this card's going to bring itself back because you have a Dodo on field. Now that you have Dodo and another level 4 on field, you can go into the extra deck. There's any way for you to go at this point. If you already have extension, you can just grab. If you already had extension, you could just technically grab any Xyz or Utopic card off of Gaga Girl. If you don't need extension, however, and like who really does, you could just go into Duo Drive and search the pieces for the Ryzeal half of the deck. That's incredible. Onomatapia is also a really good card, summoning itself out after you resolve the fucking the Dodo line and detached it for cost of something. You can search Go-Go-Go Goblinberg. Go-Go-Go Goblinberg summons out the fucking Go-Go-Go Glove again. Gaga Gambara is a good thing with Zubaba Banco, Gaga Coat, and like everything just kind of blends into itself to make this really cool Xyz strategy now that does help Utopia. And that's what makes people want to look at these cards and say they're not going to do anything at present. These aren't coming out until after Justice Hunters. The Xyz decks that we will be able to play at that point are very different. K9 literally is a deck designed to play with your opponent going first and going second. You are not afraid to play the game and have multiple cards to play with your opponent on their turn. Utopia wants to ask the question of how far can we push rank 4? As a generic pile, rank 4 can go really good and far, but we are in the position of, well, what does rank 4 have to offer? And the answer is not much. Onomatapia is just a discard. This is unironically what people say Wishes of Isa Blue is, but older. Also, just incredibly a good card too. Like, send one card, add 2 of your choice of any of the following is really good. Rhoda, because of course, they're all warriors besides exactly Glove, so who cares? Cross out Called By, because every deck has to play these 2. Hand Trap lineup, this isn't even a good hand trap lineup. I don't even feel like I want to play like Ash Blossom anymore, or Imperm, and that just sucks for the game itself, but we'll get back to that later. Ryzeals, Node Ryzeal, Star Ryzeal, these are like the 2 that you actually don't know what they do, probably. Node is a reborn by sending a card from your hand or field. Star Ryzeal detaches the card, summon itself out, and then search a Ryzeal card and set it. This is good because this is a way to also get to cross if Duo Drive ever doesn't resolve, which has happened. It's obviously going to happen. Ice, Sword, X, you know these 3. Plug in, you're reborn. Cross, the field spell that negates. Plasma Hole, this killed Malice if it actually resolves. Bonfire searches all of your Ryzeals, which get you everything, so who cares? Aggregator, the card that you pitch off of X. That's its only purpose. It's the only reason you would ever use it. Ryzeal Detonator, unironically, is the only reason we're playing this is because it is the end goal going first. And unfortunately, the real issue with this deck, unironically, is that we don't have anything going first yet. 2 Duo Drive, just because what if they catch your unicorn, you just kind of have it. You could cut this down, you could play more stuff, who cares? Ugaris, you like drawing cards? Gaga Magician. This card, in theory, is supposed to help you make an F-Zero. Through playing, I have realized that this card is not really worth it. What this card is supposed to be is, if they somehow Nibiru Gaga Girl still being on field, you could go Gaga Magician to reborn the girl and then go into F-Zero using those 2. That doesn't happen enough for it to matter. In the positions where it would matter, unironically, you have other things to be doing instead of just making Gaga Magician again to make F-Zero. It's a fun extender if you can get to a point where you've had 2 on field to do it, but it's not worth it. Unlike Gaga Girl, who is the searcher of the deck. Ranking up into her, you can activate her effect, adding an Onomatapia, Xyz, or a Gaga Guard to your deck to your hand. We have looked at the pool. There's not that much Gaga stuff that is really interesting, but there are a few. I'll put those up on screen right now. Look into those are fun. However, this deck doesn't do anything with those cards because we really don't want to be drawing as half of the cards in this deck. Like, honestly, look at how many cards you technically don't want to see out of a fucking 40 card strategy. Jesus Christ. Exciton Knight. This is just the what if we are locked into rank 4s and we need a Zeus? That's what Exciton Knight is. Castel. He is here, sadly, because he is a winged beast, and you can make Harpy's Featherstorm with a trust in the side deck. I hate that this is the format. Tornado Dragon. This is your spawn trap 8. Enjoy it. That's all you get. Baguska. This is your other turn 1 board. If you can't make Ryzeal, you make Baguska pass. I'm not kidding. F-Zero, Utopic Draco. These are both kind of obvious. You can just do these really easily. Who cares? Typhon, Zeus. Obviously, you know why these are here. Droplets, Unbreakable Barrier. This is your Trap Negate that just needs you to have an Xyz on field. That is really good for Ryzeal specifically. Now you actually have a reason to use the Gaga Girl, which is just generically good. Just for this card alone, you set Gaga Girl pass, you kind of just vibe out with this card. If you detach 2 from like Xyz you control, you can also send a card they control to the banish. I'm sorry, destroy it. And you can banish it to target Xyz you control and attach 1 light Utopia or Utopic Xyz from your graveyard to it as material. You know what this card also reads? If Draco Future is done, guess who gets to fucking be put under Ryzeal Detonator? Isn't that fucking funny? Judgments, Featherstorm, Thrust, Retaliating Sea. This is not relevant yet, but this does come up in a really annoying deck that will be coming out soon with Draco Tail. And then Lancia is here because Malice is a deck that definitely plays really hard. I don't like Malice. There's a reason I don't talk about Malice much, because Malice genuinely kind of is boring as hell. But that's this deck. What does this deck play as? Really simply, it's rank 4 Turbo. You know how these type of decks would normally play if you've seen any form of Ryzeal recently. Ryzeal against Rugi, Ryzeal Fiendsmith, it doesn't really matter. They're all going into a rank 4 of some variety to get into the other line of their deck. What Ryzeal Onomatapia does is the same thing. Either you can go into Gaga Girl, which searches you Onomatapera, which lets you go into the Dododo Warrior stuff, or you go Duo Drive and you search into the Ryzeal. And both of these work in tandem with one another, so they kind of just do whatever they want. That's the fun part about this. This isn't just a quirky like Fiendsmith deck that like takes up 7 slots in your extra deck just because it wants its own line. No, this deck is putting you at the disadvantage of dying to Dimensional Barrier with the benefit of heavily plussing you when it comes to Xyz cards. With that in mind, Ryzeal Detonator is a heavy carry for this deck, and the only way this deck really starts going off on its own without the Ryzeal cards is if we can manage to, as a community, understand that Utopia doesn't need to be playing 10 cards in its extra deck for a single line. These cards are really good at making the line plausible now without using all the utopic stuff and all the other bricks in that deck, but it doesn't achieve anything if we keep doing this little game of pretend that's making one guy and hoping to God it works out. Rico Feature's a good card. It's not the best card. That's all I really wanted to say about this deck. I just wanted to do this video real quick. Just a quick little story, little rambling of what you could be expecting out of Onomatapia, and also just doing a video because Joe Gresham video got corrupted, so we are waiting to record that again. Once that is recorded, I will be getting it out as soon as possible because I want to get that on a bi-weekly to a semi-consistent schedule, and these will be the in-between deck profiles in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Digimon, and you'll be seeing a lot more of them. I feel very confident in that. That's all I've had to really say about the deck. If you did enjoy me little talking time of like being kind of real with what the deck does and how it plays, comment about it. Talk about it with me. Engagement, talk, obviously. I have a Patreon. Please go follow me over on Patreon. Even if you don't want to send a buck or two my way, I do post a lot of information there on Patreon publicly now, just about what is coming out soon and what will be interesting. If you want to hear about the Celestials video, go there. If you want to support me even just a little bit, just go there as well. Also, for the people who don't feel like going to Patreon, just liking and subscribing my channel would be really appreciated, and I thank you a million for doing that. I hope you all had a wonderful time with me. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.